Welcome, everybody, to another episode of Dan-A-Plooza. My guest at this time is the very talented burlesque performer and model, Lady Ginger Lust.
Hi.
Hello. So, for those watching and future watching, you can check out Lady Ginger Lust on her social medias. Look at Lady Ginger Lust on Facebook, the Giantess Ginger on Instagram, Lady Ginger Lust on Instagram, or on the website ladygingerlust.co.uk/more. So go ahead and make sure to follow this amazing lady on all those social media platforms and enjoy all the amazing stuff that she has posted. Lady Ginger Lust, thank you for being on the show.
Thank you so much for having me. This is
You're
fabulous.
welcome. So, I'm curious, how did your name come about, Lady Ginger
My
Lust?
name. It was actually incredibly last minute. I came up with the name, I think around midnight of the night before my first show. And I was doing it with the House of Burlesque and Tempest Rose, the mentor and producer, and just just running everything. She messaged me and she was like, "We need a name for you." And I knew that I wanted it to be something referencing my red hair, and I was just running through all of these different ideas, and then I thought of just the name Ginger, and I thought it was such a great combination of sort of ginger, kind of like cute and kind of cheeky a little bit, but also vintagey and sort of classic, and yeah, so I picked Ginger, and I was literally on the group chat for all of the burlesque, like everyone performing, being like, "Guys, help me come up with my name. Like, I need to sort of like just throw some words at me," and like a bunch of people were just throwing random words, and I think it was the performer Gemarella Gingerbread who
Aw.
said the name Lust, and I was just like, "Oh my god, that sounds amazing." So I did that, and I actually started off as just Ginger Lust. And then when I went to create my Instagram, I just put the word like lady in front of it, just completely out of the blue, and then Lady Ginger Lust was born.
And then it appeared.
And then everything happened. It was just fabulous.
So, for those watching, she has performed with the House of Burlesque, which is in London. And I think, is one of her memorable characters that I have at least noticed is her Cruella De Vil character. Um, so, can you tell me about that performance and why you selected that character?
Yeah. I love my Cruella act. I actually haven't performed it ever anywhere. I was due to my first ever performance. I was due to debut it in May 2020. So obviously that didn't happen. But yeah, I've always been really obsessed with the aesthetic of Cruella, the kind of the fabulousness. And obviously I've always been very attracted to like glamour and just like fashion and gorgeousness. And when I was younger, every single fancy dress party, I was some sort of version of Cruella De Vil,
Yeah.
because it was just so fun. And I actually found the wig in my in like one of my in a dressing up box, and I heard the song. There's a song that I heard. I'm actually going to tell you which song it is. This is the song that my act is to, and
Mhm.
it's Screaming Jay Hawkins, and it's I Am the Call, and it's this really like, ooh, just amazing song. And I heard the song, and I'd had the idea of doing a Cruella act in my head for a while because it's just so fabulous. And then I just pictured myself as her walking around and sort of just like moving to this song. And I loved it because the version of Cruella that came into my head was the cartoon version where she's really like, ugh, just
Yeah.
kind of like, she's really angular and she's really like kind of slouched, and
Oh yeah.
it really worked for me moving around and kind of, and then I just suddenly had this image of it in my head to the song, and I was like, well, I'm gonna fucking do it then, like I'm gonna, let's that that's going to happen. So yeah, and when I was creating it, there's a bit of a twist ending, which you don't really expect, and that I think has never been done for the Cruella character before, and that also just popped into my head, just completely like I just had the idea while I was choreographing the am I saying that word correctly? That sounds funny.
Choreography. Yeah.
Yeah. Like, this sounds incorrect in my head. But yeah, but I won't tell you the twist because you just have to see it.
I was immediately thinking of the cartoon and of Disney.
Absolutely.
And if you were ever wanting to do the character, I was going to do the guy on the piano. I'd be like, Cruella De Vil.
Yes.
The scares you, no evil thing will.
I love that. I would be so here for it. I'll do like the kind of walking past, like trailing my fingers are across your back as you're playing, just like.
I'll be like, and first you think. Dun, dun.
Yeah.
I just need like an old man and a pipe, and just.
Absolutely. And you'd have to have the whole like the kind of the black, the kind of the shirt and ties, like.
Yeah.
You have to have the look like. If you're on stage with me, then your outfit needs to match my outfit. So.
Yes. Somebody will have to pre-program the piano because I can't really play it. So if I could just move it and like.
That's fair. You just be like.
Yeah, I'll be like this, doing this.
Yeah. Yeah, we can do that. Nice.
But I'm glad that you like that character, and that I'm glad that you got inspiration from the cartoon. I think that's amazing to pull from that. I think that it's important to have those kind of inspirations as a performer.
Absolutely. Yeah. And it's interesting because like the inspiration comes from anything, any kind of like, it's always different every time. So I think it's really, as a creator, it's really important to sort of keep the open mind and allow yourself to notice when you're being inspired, because for me, it comes so often. And I always try to like write something down or make a note of it just so I can kind of try to see if I want to use it in the future, because it just literally comes from anywhere.
This is true. So I asked this question to all burlesque performers that I've interviewed before. So do you have a favorite kind of prop or to go to prop that you like to use for performances?
My answer to this, I'm just like, my body and my face is my go-to prop. Like maybe my hair. I'm always just like playing with my hair, or I think that's it. There's nothing that I use every single time, and for every act, there's no like. But the thing about burlesque, it's so fun because you're dressed fabulously. But it is really about your body, and it is about the way you move and sort of what you decide to bring attention to. And the same with my face. Like I had a show where there was a wardrobe malfunction, which there always is sometimes, and my bra wouldn't come off, and it was a competition. And I'm standing there just like freak, like kind of. I was like, okay, this is cool. And I was just continuing to struggle to get my bra off. The whole time I'm just making faces as if like overdoing a kind of freaking out, act kind of thing. And I got it off, and the cheer was just so loud when I was just like there, and I threw it, and I was just like, and everyone was going mental. And like afterwards, we were having drinks at the venue and just sort of chatting to people, and like so many people were like, I know that was that was like a fuck up, but you played it out so well. And one of the judges was like, your face was hilarious. Like honestly, the whole thing was like, it was great because she was like, you give good face. And I was like, all right, I'll take that. So like, I think my facial expressions, like I love kind of being really over the top.
Oh yeah. So, and I have asked that question before, and some of them have given me the answer like they use like fans, like that's sometimes
Yeah.
their favorite, or a chair.
Yeah, those are all good. Yeah.
I made the joke. They're like, "What's yours?" I go, "For me to tip, mine's the dollar bill."
Oh yes,
That's my bro.
yes,
That's my
absolutely.
bro.
I last like years before COVID, I actually did a show in America, in California,
Uh-huh.
at a bar where I kind of like I've been there. I have friends who go there,
Yeah.
and one of my friends, he didn't tell me, but he actually had the like he had a bunch of notes, and at the end of it, and there's pictures of me like topless. One of my tits is like up here, and one of them's like down here, and I'm just like. And there's all these skills just floating around, and I was like, "Oh my god, that is amazing!" It was so good.
You're like, I'll be taking all these notes.
Yeah, I know, absolutely. Yeah, I had to send somebody to gather up everything with all my clothes. I was like, "Can you get all that money for me, please?" Like,
Oh, that's great. That
yes.
would be something to see in person. I feel like that would be such a
Oh,
good
absolutely.
experience. And like at least none of the audience went like after the notes, because sometimes I see people like
Yeah.
they see the money and they're tempted, you know. Like,
Well, luckily, I think they were just too dazzled by, they were just like stunned by
yes,
me, So like,
you'd be like holding the dollar and you just plug
yeah.
We did have a burlesque group where I live,
Yeah.
um, and but because of like COVID, it kind of like um, shut down,
Yeah.
Um, but it was interesting just to see like that. I know one time we had like a circus performance, and they had all these different like circus acts and like the fire and everything.
Love that.
Do you,
Oh, sorry, excuse me. Excuse me, sorry. Okay.
is that Star Trek or?
Yeah, next generation.
So what people don't know is Lady Ginger Lust. She's part of the burlesque enterprise, and she just hits this little icon and just moves up
Yeah.
to transfer to the next show.
Don't tell anyone,
Don't
like.
tell anyone. I'm gonna get lost within the transformation.
Yeah.
Like, it's gonna come out weird. That's that's all right. Um, so, can you tell me what do you like most about burlesque?
Ooh, damn. Um, just like the fabulousness of everything and everyone.
Yeah,
It's we live in a kind of a world where everything's it's very gatekeepery. You have to look a particular way, and you have to be a particular way, and you have to do this in
yeah,
order to achieve this kind of. But in burlesque, everybody, 100% of people in performing or stage managing or just being involved in the show or even attending the show, everybody is treated with so much respect, and just everybody is just so fucking fabulous. Everybody is so friendly and accepting of all body types, all genders, all races, all skin, just any kind of all disabilities, like any or ages. Every single kind of person can be accepted and just celebrated in this world. And it really celebrates sexuality, especially for women, in a world where women's sexualities are not really celebrated. If a woman is sexy, then that's celebrated, but also she can't be too happy about it, then it's too
mhm,
much. So it's about just the positivity and the sexiness and the glamour and the dressing up. And it's just so nice because it's just so fun. All of the clothes and the corsets and the stockings and the feathers and the jewelry and all of that's amazing. But that's never the whole thing. That's always just the kind of the show. But behind everything there's always so much personality and love, and it's so genuine, and it's so fun, and it's so silly, and it's just a real community of people to be involved in any way, whether you're performing or you're just attending a show or anything. It's just so glamorous and fabulous, and so accepting and loving.
Yeah. Do you want me to answer that question too? Because sometimes people ask me questions
Absolutely.
too.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Flip the script. You know, a little graphic again. So I find it because I'm a theater guy, so I find it very theatrical,
Mhm.
and I find it like very like entertaining, and like I feel like it's a different level of storytelling because
Yeah.
you're storytelling, you know, with your body, and like, you know, using a lot of improvisation. You know, it's not like you're an
Mhm.
actor waiting for your line. You know,
Yeah,
you know?
absolutely.
So like I just feel like it's also incredibly brave too, because like you're kind of like performing in these costumes in front of people you don't know, and you
Mm,
don't know how their reaction is going to be. So
absolutely.
it's like you have to be like brave, you have to know how to move with your music, and work with your props, and then like how to also cover things up if stuff does this, if your wardrobe has a malfunction, or you know,
Yeah.
if your music doesn't play and you just you just keep going, you know, and
Yeah.
everything.
And something will always, like, eventually that kind of stuff is always going to happen, like, at some point.
And so sometimes I like to tell people, I'm like, if your music goes out, I will just sing it. I don't know. You know,
Nice.
give me a microphone and I'll keep you going.
Crazy. And that will probably turn out to be the best show, you know,
Yeah.
because like it has so much more like
The-
just personality.
they'll pick something. They'll be like, "It's Miley Cyrus." I'm like, "Oh, okay, all right. It's gonna take a while."
Mm.
Sing that pitch. I know you're gonna spring that on me. Let's just
Yeah.
start with Wrecking Ball, and we'll just go from see how it goes.
Nice.
But
That's cool.
I do, and I think that it's wonderful when people all work together
Mhm.
collectively, you know, on the stage. And like when I first saw a burlesque show here, that how they bowed, they used from The Greatest Show, you know, The Greatest
Mhm.
Showman with Hugh Jackman.
Yeah.
And they said, "This is the greatest show," and everybody was doing stuff. You had someone who was doing something with fire, someone who was
Mm.
juggling, somebody who was hula hooping, you know. So you
Mhm.
had all these different focal points, and everybody was like on time and everything like that, you know.
Yeah.
I
Great.
was like, how is everyone in sync? I'm, you know, like I feel like dropped
Yeah.
something, you know.
Just like, oh my god, there's just so much. Like, I love that. That's wonderful.
And then like they started like hitting the ground, and they would pound, pound, clap, pound, pound, clap. So then the audience is like pound, pound, clap, pound,
Mhm.
pound, clap. So now everybody is like feeling a part of it, you know.
Mhm. It's just vibes. It's just the most amazing vibes.
Oh yeah.
That's cool. That's very cool.
So yeah, but I used to take pictures and videos, so I have to
Yeah.
show you that sometime.
Yeah, definitely. That's nice. That's very cool.
But yeah, it's always a blast for me. I
Mhm.
haven't seen a show in person um since like around COVID or like 2021.
Yeah. Yeah.
Sometimes people are like, "Well, just drive and just fly over," you know.
Yeah. Yeah, yeah. I haven't performed on stage because I mean I've been doing online shows kind of
Mhm.
almost weekly all throughout lockdown. But and these videos are online as well if people want to find them.
Oh yeah.
But I haven't performed on stage since like February 2020.
Oh wow.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's crazy. Yeah.
Well, I do know, and I just thought I would throw this out to you. I do know somebody, and they kind of do virtual performances,
Nice.
and they're always looking for people to participate in. The the woman who organizes it is Fanny
Yeah.
Sinclair. She
Oh,
does this kind of like free for all thing, and she's had people from Mexico, and so it would
nice.
just be like you would perform virtually, kind of like on a Zoom, and do
Yeah.
that if that's
Yeah.
something that you're interested in, and then that way you could bring one of your characters. I just
Yeah.
don't know, like with the time, like
Yeah, yeah, yeah. No, it's fair. Yeah, yeah, definitely. Send me after this, send me the details and I'll get in
yeah,
contact.
I'll
Yeah,
definitely
cool.
let you know and everything. But I know that they have a show Tuesday, yeah, that
Mhm.
they're doing.
Nice. That's really
So
cool. Nice. Yeah,
it
that'd be
is.
nice.
It is with the virtual. So have you done virtual performances?
Yeah, yeah. I've done like I haven't done any where I haven't done any with the ones sort of with the official burlesque, like with other
Hmm.
people all doing burlesque. But I've done lots of just like live shows and just pre-recorded and live and just kind of yeah. So I've done lots of ones where it's just me deciding to perform.
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
it's is it interesting to you because then with the reactions and comments, because
Mm.
from hearing from crowd and people, and now you're like seeing like emojis like smiley, and like all these
Yeah.
different things.
Yeah, it's so weird. It's completely different. It's very different. But it's nice because also say in a show, you hear the crowds and you hear the claps
Mhm.
and the cheers, which is obviously fabulous. But afterwards, you might have some people go up to you and tell you how nice, how much they liked it, which is great. But doing the live shows online, I found I have a lot more messages from people that are just more they're longer messages and they're more articulate and they're more like they kind of because someone's sitting there rather than being happening. I love it. But if someone's sitting at a computer, they might be like, wow, I love that for this reason and I like this and this and this and it's a lot more in depth and it's a lot more personal and it's just really nice to have people send me a message just giving more detail about what they liked about and about sort of my energy and stuff and what they enjoy and it's really nice. It's the kind of more detailed feedback that you don't really get when you're performing on stage because the audience is distracted by something else like so quickly, so you don't really get more of a detailed reaction, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah.
See, for me, I still do virtual dollar dollar dollar. That's I do. That's the
Yeah.
emoji that I do.
That's nice. That's really nice.
I'm like ship dollar dollar. Glad there's no cent, because then they'd be like, think you
what
meant
where,
to
where
type
do you
something
watch
else.
them? Is there like one platform where you find
Yeah.
your performance?
So I have watched Burlesque and Chill, and
Mhm.
they're based in California. It's I'm giving them a plug right now. It's by Miss Lady Legs, and so they kind of do a show about once every month or so, and then they do in-person shows, but they do like themes, like they did 90s theme, and someone did
Nice.
uh, a performance with Hey Arnold. They were Helga.
Oh my god, that's amazing.
Yeah. And so there was that, and then they so so they perform once every month, and then um Fanny has her performance called Golden Chandelier.
Nice.
And she's like also a producer and like helps with a lot of stuff backstage. She's kind of a one woman does it all
Mm,
sort
good.
or deal. But
Yeah.
they've done their shows as well, and sometimes they can do different shows. Like sometimes they'll do stuff where it's very classy, like they've done like a little bit of film noir, and then like
Yeah.
um I think one time they were doing like the 80s, and she did performance like from Uncle Buck. There
Yeah.
was that, and then like somebody did Breakfast Club, somebody was John Bender. You know?
Oh, amazing. That sounds
So
really cool.
I feel like people like that because it's very character driven and people know and love the characters, you know. So
Absolutely. Yeah.
I feel like that plays well because we all grew up with those characters, you know.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
So
Nice. Yeah.
I think the one I remember last year is they did Weird Science. Somebody performed as
Mm.
Weird Science, and they were Lisa, you know, and they had the
Yeah.
song playing, and
That's wicked. Nice. Yeah, House of Burlesque were doing something like that before COVID, where it was called Fresh, because they have like they teach burlesque, and at the end of it you can do a show, and so they started doing these like every month. It was a show and it was like a different theme, and the performers could decide on the theme together. We did a circus one where I was the host for the first and only time in my life. It was terrifying. We did a Harry Potter one where I did a Ginny Weasley act. And
oh
it was just,
yes.
yeah, it was so fun. It was really cool. The Harry Potter one was wonderful. Yeah.
um, so is that the best part of your experience with House of Burlesque?
Oh, yeah, kind of. I think just meeting the people. There's so many really, really wonderful people involved in it, and yeah, and the sort of the freedom and that we have to explore what we want, and how Tempest Rose, so it's her company, and she just created the most amazing platform for performers, and she gives us so much guidance but so much space to follow our own instincts and do what feels right for us, and there's just so much going on. There are so many shows and so much just fabulousness. And yeah, I've performed with House of Burlesque. I've stage managed, and I've just been in the audience as well. And I remember one time it was a Winter Wonderland one, and I was in the audience and with some friends, and I was at the very front row, right in front, right in the middle, and the kind of walkway was coming right up to me, and they were performing, and Tempest was looking fabulous as always, and she just walked to the end, and she could just looked at me, and during a performance she made eye contact with me for a split second, and at this point I'd known this wonderful woman for years, for like 3 years maybe. I'd worked with her, she taught me, I'd worked for her, you know, I knew her quite well, but still, when I'm sitting in the audience and I saw her look down at me and kind of smile, I was like, Lady Ginger, Tempest Rose just like looked at me. I was like, oh my God. And it was just so funny how like this was like she's a friend, you know, but I still felt this rush of exhilaration, just like, oh my God, she's so amazing. And that's how I just dropped my clip. That's how I feel about every single person. They're so talented and they're so wonderful. And it's funny because when you spend so much time with them, they're just, you know, you see them as people and you just get to know them as just like normal people. And then sort of suddenly you're on stage and you're seeing them on stage and you're just like, oh my God, like everyone's so amazing. Yeah, it's cool.
I had something cliche to say.
Yeah, what? Tell
That
me.
I was saying when you saw her perform the 80s song, I was thinking like, I saw the sign.
Yes.
Eyes.
And I'm just so like, yeah.
And I feel like if there's a Lady Ginger Lust story, Dan the Man has to sing that like in the thing, like in the background.
I like that. That's cool.
But we're getting ready to wrap it up here on Dan-A-Plooza. Is there anything else you'd like to say or promote as we wrap things up?
I don't really know. Just thank you for having me, and just thank you to everybody everywhere for everyone's always been so lovely and supportive, and it's just been a really, really wonderful journey for me. I don't know, just go on my website. I think ladygingerlust.co.uk/more just gives you all of the links to all of the stuff. I'm kind of mixing my business up at the moment. I'm trying new things and I'm doing, you know, and I'm making updates everywhere about this. So yeah, just follow me and just keep an eye on what I'm up to.
All right, that's going to do it for Dan-A-Plooza. Stay tuned. On Friday, we will have more guests. We will have stand-up comic and artist Jack Rife. Uh, and we will have also another burlesque model and performer, Foxy Love. And following up with pinup model Brittany Ammo. So stay tuned to Dan-A-Plooza. Have a good evening.